Okay, so the next test will be normality. Now, to know which hypothesis test that you need to use, you need first to test the normality and homogeneity, because if it's not normal and if it's not homogeneous, we're gonna use a different test for the hypothesis. So in this video, we're gonna do the normality test as usual. Open your SPSS app. All right, after you open your SPSS app, it's going to be a little bit different than validity and reliability, which you put the data onto data view and then like do the analysis. In normality, we need to type first. So we're going to open the data that we have. Here, I already have the data to analyze. I'm going to open it. Okay. Now, so here we have a data experimental class and control class. So for normality, before we copy this data, we're going to open the SPSS app, and then we're going to type here score and class. It's going to be a little bit different than validity and reliability. Now, as usual, we're going to change the decimal to 0. And then after you change the decimal to 0, we're going to open values only in class, okay? Only in class. So we don't need to change about the score, but only in class. Going to just that button here, if you don't see it, right here. And then we're going to type the value. So for the value, we're going to split screen again. Okay. Now, to know like how many values you're gonna put, you need to see your data. Here, we have two classes that has 4 tasks. So we're going to type here. So value number 1, and I'm gonna label it as experimental class pre-task. Okay, so it's gonna be like this. Experimental class pre-task, and then add that. And then you're going to do like the same thing for the rest. So number 2 is experimental class post task, and I'm going to do the same thing on control class. So it's value number 3, and then control class pre-task that, and then the last one is gonna label it control class hostess. Okay, like that. And then after you finish, click OK. All right, now we're going back to the SPSS app, and we're going to change into data view. And as we can see here, there's already like a score and class column here, there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the data again. Okay, we're going to split screen again here, and then copy the data. So first, we're going to copy the pre-task data. Remember, only the data, nothing else. Okay, we already got the data, and then we're going to copy there, copy to score. All right. Now, what do you fill in the class column? Well, we're going to open the variable view again and make sure that the number is correct. So for experimental class pre-task, it's number 1. So we're going to put for the pre-task data in the class column, number 1. So number 1 like this. And then we're going to copy and just log all it like that. So you're going to do the same thing as the rest, but make sure that you put the correct number for the score and also the class. So we're going to copy the post task data. All right. We already select all, and then we're going to copy there. Make sure that the data that you put is correct. So for the post test, the first number is 81, and then the last is 64, which is correct. Now we're going to put the number 2 because it's class number 2 in variable view, as we can see here. There you go. Experimental class post test, it's number 2. With the data view, and I'm going to just like copy that and then block and paste like that. It's the same thing for control class as well. So control class pretest, we're going to copy, and then paste. And then we're going to add 3 because it's number 3 in the variable view. And then we're going to block and paste. And the last one is control class post as. Going to block again, copy, and then paste. And then number 4, copy that, block all of it, and then paste. So this is data view that you need to put. Again, make sure that the score and the class that you put is correct, like the variable view that you already put inside. All right, after you do all that, we're going to open the Analyze tab and go to the descriptive statistic and go to Explore. So for the score, we're going to put it on dependent list. Going to just click this. And then for the class, we're going to put it on the factor list like that. And then after you did all that, you're going to click on the plots and make sure normality plots with test is checked. Going to just like check that, continue, and then click OK. Right, so this is the data that you will get. Now, in this data, we have like 3 tables here that you can check. So there's a case processing summary, descriptive, and the last one is test of normality. And there's also like a bunch of stuff here that you can scroll and check, but we're going to focus on the third table here, which is this task of normality. So in here, we can check the result of this data. So if this data, we're going to conclude that if this data is normal distributed or not. Now, we're going to check here. We're going to focus on the C column here and here. Now, to conclude if the data is normal or not, we need to check the number. If the number is more than 0.05, it is normally distributed. But if it's like less than 0.05, then it's not normally distributed. Now we're going to check the number here, and all of these are normally distributed. Now, you might be asking why, but how about the control class pretest in Kolmogorov-Smirnov test? It's 0.021, which is less than 0.05. So it is not normally distributed because if you have like this one data that is not normally distributed, then we need to call it not normally distributed for the data. Well, do not worry. First, we need to check our data again and see how many the total of the number. As you can see here, we have the total of 25. Now, if it's less than 50 for the normality test, we're going to just focus on the Shapiro wheel test, as you can see here. And all of the Shapiro wheel is all normally distributed. So this is like greater or more than 0.05 for the pretest, experimental class pretest, post-test, and the control class pretest and post-test. So if it's like lower than 50 of the total of the data, we can just like focus on the Shapiro wheel. So in conclusion, this data is normally distributed. So for the next, we're going to test the homogeneity test. For the homogeneity test, we're going to do it in the next video. Thank you.